La vaca Saturno-Saturnita.
You're like, damn, on the day of fathers?
Yep, that's approaching 12, 16, 18 years old. My separate children on weekends.
Do you want another one? She's a girl. Not athletic at all.
So my athletes are not athletic.
Yeah.
That's not the water.
Yeah. Alright, guys, we'll wait for now to jump in here.
Los Bros.
I have a few things to go over with you guys, like with our themes of the week and all that kind of stuff. Before we really get into that, though, you know, like what feels most important to you guys going into this week?
The meetings. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. What?
I just
Chop, 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 Saur.
Oh, okay.
definitely leading into the outbound process.
Lucky Rot.
Making sure that, following up with quite a few, either that we've talked to in the past or that we're, hitting the landing to expand motion.
That is actually hitting on something that I wanted to talk about today. So thank you, Austin. And then Max, meetings, man.
Meetings. But also feeds right into land and expand.
100%. What about you guys, Alex? Just talk about what feels most important this week, going into this week.
Yeah, I would say the same. Just like land and expand, and also just like follow-ups with like old inbounds and resurrection leads as well. Any no-shows as well, because we're getting to close to the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I'd say it's just handling the inbounds or not. Like to do those schedule as quick as possible. CRM cleanup in the end of quarter. So making sure
Espressona Signora.
aligned and all athletic store. We did have to push forward through the process.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but this week we're at the frat house. We're like the east side. It's just you this week, gents. Our princess queen is in France.
She's in France?
Yeah.
That's cool. For what? Yeah.
Not the big stand, bro. Dude, like a funny story. She's there, I think, with her family. I don't know. And then, funny story about cake stand. The one and only time I've been to cake stand, bro, they freaking dropped. I was like on the thing, and I'm not gonna lie, the cake was almost gone. And I started like, oh no, we're uneven. And then it went. So that was a good time.
Lucky Rot.
First on the cake stand, but hey, we live to tell another tale.
I fell off the third story building doing one. That's why I didn't graduate from University of Texas. I was on my third story balcony and they had me up on there. I went whoop, landed in some bushes. When I woke up, the cops were around me.
Oh my goodness. I don't know, like in Texas, right? There's like no casino anywhere. But when me and Jared were in North Dakota for the funeral, there is this really big casino called the Four Bears Casino on the Fort Berthold Reservation. And I am not like I'm like if always $100 and I'm not gonna gamble for like 3 months, you know, or I'm really weird with it. I don't like push my luck. So we go, amidst the activities, right? We go into the casino and I put like, I don't know, $40 in this machine. Anyway, I left that day with $1,500. And I hit the button 2 times, you guys. And then the machine just like went off and the guy had to come over and like lock the machine. And he was like, hold your hand out. And I said, what? And he said, hold your hand out, because they have to physically give you the money like right there. And once it hits a certain amount of time, apparently, I don't know, I've never broke a casino machine before. Apparently once it hits a certain amount that you have won, like they just have to come and give you and reset the whole thing. If I would have got to $2,000, I would have had to pay taxes. But I was like, okay, see ya. Left. Now I'm gonna get again for like, I don't know, like 2 years. So that was positive things that direction, guys.
That's a win.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was super crazy.
What?
Jared.
Why did you start the last 2 Fridays with our fucking lackluster wins of us?
Because I'm freaking, you know what? I didn't even think about it.
Leadership from above, Shelby.
I know, Jesus. It was so funny. Jared was like 2 machines next to me too, and then he like won $300 on that one. And we were like, fuck yeah, we're rich. No, but you know. Okay, Val will probably get over here a little bit later, but just want to share that with you guys. You know, he's an ad stick money. So I put something in the chat today.
Pipoqueira motoqueira.
Just kind of following up on like what you guys are saying too, the things that are feel most important. Struggle, you kind of said it. It's end of quarter. You know, like we will barely have any days next week. I want majority of end of quarter things done this week. That means it's probably not the time to go and try to do a whole net new prospecting thing, right? Like it's probably a better time spent, like you guys are saying, to be spending time in close lost, your no-shows from the entire quarter, or even whatever no-shows maybe you didn't convert for the entire year. Close lost, resurrections, things that have dropped down. We have the LMS evals for, you know, upsells, which just seem to be pretty easy conversations at bats. And then obviously always the number one thing, managing our inbounds from the morning, making sure that we have activity on that. So you guys you hit it hard on the head there on what our what's really important this week. I would take it a step further. Completed versus uncompleted, right? Get your AEs on a call this week and figure it out. I need Salesforce opportunities updated. Everything, if there was anything prior to April 27th, that would still be updated in Zoho, or that you guys have in Zoho. There's going to be a lot of communication, a lot of operational work that is going to go into figuring out what the data looks like from this insane quarter that we've had and this whole huge CRM transition. So I would just really take some time. Remember, admin, end of day, our revenue making activities are the most important thing. Getting meetings, working on meeting our KPIs, hitting our activities. That stuff is the most important thing. From there, time management, right? We gotta complete meetings. We gotta make sure things are updated. So really tie down your meetings this week. Get them on a call, force them on a call, and go through those reports that I've shared with you guys. If you do not have that report, message me on the side. I can send it to you during one-on-ones tomorrow too. least priority right now for Dylan. So my biggest thing that I want you guys to remember for opportunities here in hygiene, filling out PAM.
Volvito bandito, trattorito.
Saying budget was not discussed does not mean that you met the requirement
La
for
mano.
budget for PAM. Saying no timeline was established. Like, I love the notes, keep the notes, but understand kind of the windows of discernment on what actually makes the checkbox. This might be a really good time. Do I need to clarify what counts as checking the box for anything in band criteria for you guys?
Only because, like, I feel like budget is kind of a taboo subject. You know, we can usually push a timeline for, like, hey, you know, what is, you know, are you looking to change immediately? You know, what's that goal? But for budget, we've always kind of tiptoed around, you know, talking about pricing. So what would qualify for budget? Just like establishing what they're paying for, like ESO, or are you wanting us to kind of dig in and get kind of like a rough estimate if they're trying to go lower than that? You know, how does that qualify?
Great question. I want to put it back on you guys from feedback, from conversations about band. What do you guys think?
I usually ask if they say something specific, like the way I ask my timeline question. I'm hoping that they will say, we want to do it this budget year, we're going to do it next budget year because we don't have budget this year, or something like that. Or if they say, well, we're trying to get into this as soon as possible, we have the budget, then I'll put that in the notes, but I'm not asking any specific questions about how much is that, what does that look like. I don't know. And what we talked about before, understanding feels like that's not our purview, and is a really fast-paced way to put my foot in my mouth, which never tastes good.
I run this morning. I'm curious if this would have counted. I actually didn't count it, but I'm curious now. They said they didn't have the big budget, and they said that they were like referred from like a neighboring department that was like also a smaller volunteer department. So like in the budget box, could I put like reference this department, which was their like referral for pricing? Because I know that like on the sales side they do that all the time. Like they check the pricing of like neighboring departments before delivering pricing to them. So giving like the AE that kind of like insider like information, like hey, go check this department before. I don't know. Would that count as getting budget information towards the score?
I think that's a good point. I think it really helps teeter maybe up on where they should push to confirm budget. When I'm saying, when we're talking about BAM, like you guys have pretty much the general idea of it. If they're currently paying for technology right now or have another provider, there is a budget every single year for that renewal. That's a part of whatever it is that they're doing. If it's another small department and they're worried about price, it might help the AE out to be able to be like, oh, well, we're competitive and we're doing this price with another person your size. That still doesn't necessarily communicate or confirm that they have a budget though. And so if they're using something currently, things that are really helpful for budget are, when are your guys' renewal with whoever it is that you're working with? If you would feel, you definitely don't have to share this with me, but what are you guys currently paying for all of these that you're using? Especially if you guys are inbounds. I expect you guys to push more on budget for inbounds than outbounds. And I think that's kind of where the difference is, right? If they're coming to us, yes, there's need, but a lot of the time they might just be concerned about pricing too. So I think like that's cool if they let you guys know and verbalize, yes,
Ding 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 dong.
Do you guys currently have a budget for this already, or is that something that you guys would have to procure?
So, I guess piggybacking off that a little bit, I was asked about the this morning. And so for like, obviously when you do it directly in Salesforce, you can fill in the box and it doesn't check the box and it doesn't count the score. But if you do it through Calendly, fill in the notes, it automatically populates the checkbox, calculates the score. So, but for example, for my budget notes, it was inbound and he didn't really know what their budget is.
Okay.
Like, I've run into that a number of times where like, I don't know what we're paying, I just know we need a different solution or we don't have one. So like, I was like, well, what do you need? And like, what's like, when do you need information by like a quote? So like, for my budget notes, I'm like, quote.
Centralucci nuclearucci.
For like due to their physical calendar, this is when they need the budget, like the quote for their budget. So, does that qualify as everybody different, or is that one? Like I haven't checked the box, so I didn't know how much it's for, but it's a note for the AE for going forward. Like this might be one thing they may need to produce a quote earlier on, and other for their.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest thing about like what we do in general, because sometimes it's like they're like, oh, you guys only need $1,200. You know, you can go get started with like errands and shit, right? So I do think it's like kind of hard where they're like, yeah, I could probably ask for that one time fee and get that added to our budget. So it's like, I actually think this would be a really great conversation to hit back with your AEs too, because we kind of go in between, hey, we want to give you guys enough information that we did ask about budget, right? But what actually qualifies from an SDR that we got? What insights from budget matter to you guys? What insights qualify that we actually got this? Because for me, if they're paying for something and they tell you that they're currently utilizing something, understanding when their renewal date is, and asking if they know how much they're paying, for me that would confirm budget. But at the same time, that would confirm budget if we completely matched and met there. See where that's why it's like, what's your ceiling? That's my question. You guys are currently paying for ESO, blah, 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 blah. So what is the ceiling for procuring new solutions or making a change? What wouldn't you want to go above, or what feels like, hey, this is my comfort level? So
Just not having the button checked doesn't really matter.
of anything that you guys did, to be honest, budget would be the least concerning thing for me. I would rather you guys have the need, because the need and what the AE does in their discovery, if they do good discovery, they will find an urgency, and then they will solidify a timeline, and then they will work on a budget. So I would say like inbounds are where we really want to ask those point blank questions. Do you guys have a budget for this right now? Is this something you guys are looking at? When do you guys need this by? That kind of thing. For outbounding, it's timeline, need, and then authority, I would say would be the most important thing. And if they give you information on budget, awesome. But anytime you currently ask like who they're using, it's always a really good segue to just say, look man, you don't have to tell me, but what do you guys currently pay for them? Is there a ceiling on technology for things like this for you guys? That just helps me let the AE know, so that they can have like the honest conversation with you about like what you guys can implement that fits into your budgeting side, that kind of thing, budgeting needs. Does that help? But the main takeaway is it checks it automatically no matter what you guys do. What I really want you guys to start doing is making sure that we are editing opportunities before we pass over to our AE. From last week, I put a couple things in the chat. Do we know what things we should be editing right now in our opportunities before we pass over to the account executive? BAMS is one of them.
The close date should be the last day of next quarter.
Hey, Gold Star. Yes, Maxie.
Should already. Oh, I see. So if it's not an outbound, because if it's an outbound, it should already be that because we set it up that way. But if it's an inbound, it's tied to whatever day the lead was created, so you have to edit it that way.
When you set the meeting, right, and right before you're about to pass it over, push your close date out to the last day of the, what's it next, 90 days next quarter? And then there's one more.
I know you're always important to double check that your name is on the created by field.
That's a good one, not what I was looking for, but great reminder.
Meeting date and time.
Still good reminder. One more time, guys. Good reminder, not what I was looking for. What about cross sells?
Oh, acquisition or amendment.
There's
Yeah.
the third one. Yeah. I know it's annoying. I talked to ops about like when we convert things, especially for current customers, right? If whatever opportunities in there for a current customer, the opportunity type should default to amendment. So I have asked operations if that's something that they could start doing, especially because when we're converting leads for you guys and sending them over, like we have the authority to change it to amendment at that time. So hopefully that will help in the future. But for right now, the three main things you guys need to be checking before you pass an opportunity over to your account executive are the amendment or acquisition, depending on if it's net new or an upsell. Your close date, it needs to get pushed out 90 days. And I have to confirm this, it's either 90 days or end of the next quarter. Either way.
That's what they said last was end of next quarter.
Yeah, and we can maybe confirm this in the meeting with Britt too that we're gonna have. But that's the biggest thing. And then third thing, and criteria. One thing that I wanted to show you guys, Strombo, if you could share your screen, and will you pull up your Nantucket PD lead?
While he's doing that, Shelby, there's also something I found that I've had to change in my opportunities. A lot of the inbounds come with a description that just says how, and then there's lines. So
Yeah.
I feel like taking that out is probably a good move.
Yeah, there's some permissions-based thing. It is supposed to have a primary campaign source, like I shared in our chat just a little bit ago. I flagged it to Dylan because I don't have the same, how mine is set up doesn't even look like your guys's, and what it should be isn't the one that it is. So they are putting in a ticket to make sure that those permissions are changed. So you guys know.
There's a how right there.
Yep, exactly. It's just a permission-based thing, so.
I wish it said like why instead. That would be better.
I know. What I want you guys to keep track of here is, so Strombo, do you see how when you guys get an inbound, the things that we can do on our own, especially if it looks really funky, like today, Mal, right, you got a couple leads passed over to you. One of them was incorrectly put in the wrong account for a different state. How many times have you guys called somebody before and you were like, why the hell is this Canada? And your territory is New Mexico. So what I want you guys to do is, anytime you guys get an inbound, the account name should never be the updated address one. That means that there's a duplicate and we need to go put the correct one in there. So the second thing you're gonna go look at, click on him. Yeah. So the prospect account name should be the exact same account name that is tagged into your opportunity. Nope, PD.
Wait, my bad.
It's okay. So actually, let me click Nantucket, and then do you see where it says show more results?
There we go.
Yeah.
Should I just redo it so you can show me that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's just like less guessing to do it, right? So you can like type in Nantucket and then click on show more results. Up above just a little, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I see.
There you go. And so you see there's 2 Nantucket TVs. Yes. If you guys notice that you guys are making activity on things, but it is not showing in that last activity row or column in your guys' report, this is the #1 reason why. If it is not showing up at all after you have done this, then there's some other bigger issue that they're still trying to figure out. But these are the things that we can control on our end. And anytime you guys get something funky, or any kind of lead, thank you so much, Trombo.
Yeah.
Also, nice haircut. You look fresh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and anything like that, you guys. Those are some little edits that we can do ourselves to just make sure that everybody's in the right account. And then obviously you guys can look and see if there's duplicates, right?
Anything owned by VTG is not the right one.
Yes. Anything that has the billing address as New York, which is the first due billing address, is not correct. Okay. I think that's pretty much everything. We talked about land and expand today. So Austin brought up a really great point, and he had a ton of success last week, just going back to like what we do best as a company, right? You get inbounds, you call all the people surrounding, tell them how you set the meeting, why you set that meeting, see if they're interested in having one themselves. I really want to push that into like what we're doing. I know that there's a push, right, for outbound prospecting in general. No matter what, like inbounds to land and expand should always be a motion that we prioritize. So I'd really, really like to see an uptick in you guys doing that this week. And I think that's really last for me. Opportunity, Sarah, and hygiene. I want us to kill at that this week. It's one of the most important things. Also, it's so noticed by your account executives, how your notes are, if your opportunities are organized, if you're passing over junk, if you're passing over greatness. And it really helps with like your partnership and what you do with your AEs, because you wouldn't want shitty notes passed over from them, right? And I think that's really it for me. Is there anything from the topics that we discussed that I need to hit a little bit more for you guys to clarify on anything? Do I need to write down our priorities or anything for this week, or do we feel comfortable and do we have them? Okay, awesome.
Hey,
You guys, yeah.
guess what? So the reason I was late, I was talking with my account executive Justin, right? He told me an outbound opportunity that I set up for May is going to close. I think he said either this week or next week to the tune of $101,000.
No way.
This Waterloo.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, figure I know you wanted to update on that.
Oh my god. It's
Pretty pumped.
that has been such a long time coming, and for you to finally get them back on the board, like hell yeah, man. Like
It's good
what
stuff.
a great example of like using your resurrection, close loss, going after some low hanging fruit, man. And
And this dude is such a talker. I was like, you better buy something. He kept me on the phone for almost a half hour the first time.
nice freaking job, man. We should do that more. It's badass when you guys source something and it closes anytime. And if you guys can hear any wins like that or get updates on it, do it. And please continue to share that stuff with the team. I was just gonna say, you guys kicked so much ass last week. It was so awesome seeing each of you meet goals and push yourselves amongst all of this chaos. You guys really showed a ton of grit, a shit ton of resilience, and like just having your shit together and doing a huge push at the end of the week last week. And I want to see that fire again. Let's finish this quarter strong. You know, we are missing a top performer on our team. I don't want anyone to notice. You're all amazing performers and can do a great job and meet your goals within your territories. And I really want to see you guys kill that, especially before the holiday. Those of you that are going to be here next week, it's going to be slow. So let's get some easy wins. Do the easy things, the simple things this week. Leave prospecting to next week. One last thing before we leave and we jump over to Britt. Self-prospecting opportunities. I know that they're a time sucker. I think it's probably one of the biggest new processes that are inconsistent at this point with everybody. I want us to hold on creating any self-prospecting opportunities for outbound. I want you guys to still add your contact in and put them into your flow. But for right now, I want you guys to hold. And for those of you that have done an amazing job at doing that and creating all of them, I want us to go back and I want us to update all of them and close out the ones that we don't have or that have run through our sequence that we've been reaching out to you for like 2 months and haven't gotten a bite on yet. Let's spend some time cleaning up our own reporting this week too. Okay. TBD on that process. Everything's gonna change, right? Name of the game at first due, you guys. Changes every week. What doesn't change though is us killing it. So go kill, go figure it out, and bring any blockers or anything you guys might need my help in for tomorrow during our team day for one-on-ones. All right. See you guys later. Go kick some ass.
Do anything fun? Anything worth mentioning?
I went to Bayou Grill yesterday.
What'd you get? What'd you get?
Got a charbroiled.
What's wrong with charbroil?
Awesome, dude. They got me a Blackstone for Father's Day, so I gotta put that together.
Oh, they're so fun though, H. I love
No,
them.
man, I'm gonna have hibachi parties every weekend, dude.
I adore
Dude,
We made hibachi outside on our Blackstone.
Yeah. They're all
It's in the rotation so easily.
I don't know, make breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert.
Well, you're not prepared for how much bacon you can make, how quickly. Like it's
That's the last thing you make.
I think you might have thought I meant a lot of bacon. I meant all of the bacon.
like you can do two pounds of bacon at a time.
That's
It's
excellent Parks and Recreation reference.
Thank you.
Great Bronson Munson. Love it.
Great for tacos too. Cooking on the plancha.
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Questions are sick. It's the way to go. We've got a couple of them, and as long as you keep them seasoned, like they'll last for a while.
Can't wait.
Season, what, are they made out of cast iron?